G'day, and welcome to Club Prairie Fire, the home of Tequila, Tabasco, and the Duckworth Lewis Stern system. Now, this is very sadly our final episode of Season 7, the T20 World Cup season. What a season it has been. Highs, lows, shitty New York pitches, gold golf course reviews, and lots of reminiscing about spiced rum sessions in the Caribbean sun. Now, to the tournament. What a wonderful tournament it was. India, magical India. Finally, after 11 years of being the favourites in basically every tournament they've played, they have raised a trophy. A very, very unselfish King Kohli anchoring his side to a very memorable victory. Sadly, however, it is the team that was fighting an even bigger hoodoo, South Africa, that walked away from the final empty-handed. It was theirs. They only needed 30 off 30 with 6 wickets in hand, and then sadly, they dropped the World Cup again. Right, lots to unpack in the pod, and unfortunately today one of our cricketing gurus is absent. Adam Gilchrist is currently trekking through the Mexican tundra in search of the perfect agave plant. His love of tequila is real, and in all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't buy himself a little hacienda, get himself a little pet Z-Donk, and drink Prairie Fire alone for the rest of his days. Anyway, okay, let's bring in the other two lads. Two English roses, former England skipper Michael Vaughan, and the devastating top-order batsman for Chinsamam, Al Huck. It is Ollie Silverton. Welcome, gents. Welcome and hello.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi, guys. Back home in the UK now. You probably see that I've got my glasses on here. Just my fluorescent yellow for the daytime to obviously protect myself from the kind of screens that I look at most days in terms of phones, you guys on the iPad, and obviously my laptop as well. So there you go. It's going to make me relax. Going to keep me cool. They look pretty cool. Erling Haaland, he wears these as well.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he's got these RA optics. They are
These
RA
are cool
optics, and apparently these are going to make me feel very, very relaxed throughout the day because I look at my screen a lot. So yeah. Just trying to block out the blue light. That's what it is. Right. That's the term. Like you're blocking out the blue light from the screens. That's what it is.
Is this a new acquisition based on the fact that you've gone quite viral in the last week? That your interactions online have, multiplied somewhat?
I'm happy India won.
You were scared of your tweets otherwise.
Yeah, I'm happy they got over the line. I mean, the problem with some Indian cricket fans, they don't seem to like the truth of kind of the normality of what's happening. But I don't think we ever said that India weren't the best team.
No. You just sort of said they had the best circumstances,
which is true. No one can deny that. But they are the best team, and they've got a trophy in their hands for the first time in 10 years. I was a bit nervous for them in that final, particularly when Henrik Klaasen was hitting that white ball into the sea on a few occasions off Axar Patel in 1 over. I thought game done and dusted. But now they've been the best team, a terrific cricket team, and it was good to see them celebrating on the pitch and dancing, doing a bit of that. Is it the Bandra dancing together? I saw Virat and Axar giving a bit of. Yeah, that was good to see. I enjoyed that.
Oh, it was great. Also, they often don't have their emotions too much. Everyone dropped to the floor. Then I think Bumrah got interviewed on the pitch, and he just hugged the interview at the end. He was just so excited.
Well, that was his wife.
That was right. He said stop being professional.
Yeah, which was, I think it's wonderful to see. Now, we have a lot to unpack from that final, a lot to unpack from the semis as well. Obviously, England and Afghanistan exiting. But before we do, I've got a question for you too. I'm just wondering how you are celebrating the 1-year anniversary. Whether you are, did you do anything today? Do you know what I'm talking about here, Vaughany?
Yeah, is that this is the podcast? It's been going a year, yeah.
No.
That's a year. That's a year and 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, no, it's when the spirit of cricket just grew an extra set of wings and lifted Australia.
Certain Johnny Best.
Is that a year ago? Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
12 months ago.
I caught up with the documentary series, The Test.
Yeah.
Just on the plane the other day, and I have to say it's a great watch.
Yeah.
Great watch, but they don't seem to. I mean, it's geared obviously for the Australians, and it's all about the Aussies, which is great, but they didn't really highlight how well England had played, and coming back from 2-0 down. I thought it was a little bit one-sided, Ollie. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And they didn't go on to say, if there was another test, England win, and all the moral victory wasn't referenced. There were bits missing. It must have been an Australian production company.
It was Australian production company.
There you go.
Because we deal in truths down in Australia. We don't. With this, it's no fiction. We don't live in this magical Piers Morgan world like you guys do. We just want the hard facts, which is Australia retain the Ashes. Actually, they didn't even need to show the cricket. It could have just been one slide that said Australia retains the Ashes, and then we all just move on with our lives.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the bit. I like the bit in the dressing room when obviously England had got the change of ball perfectly timed at the Oval, and then it came up on the screen the old ball and the new ball, and all the reaction from the players. The ball. Every player that got out, the fucking ball. Everything was down to the ball.
Yeah. Because what was the story with the balls again? That it was the box. It was the wrong box, or
it was very clever from England. Whoever had managed to get a ball from the bat of 2019 into the series in 2023. And if you go back to the 2019 series, there was, I think I'm right there. That's it was a series where the ball was swinging and hooping everywhere.
Yeah.
And this series in 23, the ball wasn't doing a great deal. And after about 10 overs, it went soft and flat. And obviously the first ball that the Australians had got to 120 for naught. Played beautifully, I have to say. David Warner and Usman Khawaja played lovely. And then all of a sudden, there was a bit of, I think the hitter ball got a bit out of, the kind of out of shape. And then they needed a new ball. And then David Milne was the umpire that took the box out, and he just happened. And there was a bit of rain as well. And then it was end of day 4. We had to come back for day 5. So they'd faced a few with that newer ball that had been chosen. And I just like Uzi Khawaja's reaction into the dread that ditched the ball. So it was psychology. Yeah. It was overnight psychology that they arrived on day 5. They were screwed. All because of the ball. He said
it felt different on the bat, right? That first ball.
On the bat.
On the bat. So the first.
What about when he described it? It's so hard. I mean, isn't a cricket ball hard anyway?
Look, I trust Usman. I trust him.
Yeah, it's so hard. I mean, when has a cricket ball been like a tennis ball?
The wind ball.
Yeah. What do they want to play with? Yeah, do they want to bat with a wind ball chasing 380?
I don't know. You guys cheated. That's all that matters. All right. We might get called the Sandpaper Gate people, but you are the 2019 ball swamp people. I think we can all agree with that. Are you happy with that?
I don't think they knew about it. It was just done by the umpires. An honest mistake. Yeah. But I am pleased to hear you're tuning into the test, because we were looking, as you know by now, NordVPN.
Yes,
they're in for 3, and I know you'll be using that, firing it up because you're traveling all over, and they're staying on for another episode. But they are worried we're getting so many views. They're going to stop. They might stop unless you keep joining. And the offer is still there, guys. It's nordvpn.com/CPF. And that gives you the huge discount off your plan and 4 months extra free. The link's in the description. So they said, obviously, with the money back guarantee, Vaughany's doing that. Gilly's in Mexico watching Carlton.
Of course he is, the Blues.
The Carlton Blues there. I
don't reckon he is, though.
Yeah, I think he's just enjoying.
I don't think he's watching too much over there.
The second most commented thing last week was obviously Vaughany talking about India, was how badly we got Kabaddi wrong. So what have you been watching this week?
What did we get wrong?
Well, India aren't even that good. I think it's Iran are the leaders. The best team and some of the rules.
Well, see, Iran, the time that the competition takes place for Iran, it's for the viewers in Iran. That's what they do. So they roll in at 10:30.
And do Iran get a better pitch?
They do.
It's a harder deck.
And leading into the tournament, they knew which semi-final they were in. Yeah. I mean, it all sounds a bit,
But they want to know at NordVPN what you support this week.
Me, what I've been watching. Well, as you know, I'm big into my. We call it soccer down here. You guys obviously call it football. I'm big into my Euros, and I wanted to watch France take on Belgium. Big clash this morning. But I always like to watch Belgium in the native Flemish. So I had to go and get my NordVPN to clock me into Brussels so that I could hear the commentary then in the native tongue. Was a bit of a stinker of a match, but there you go. France go through.
So you like to watch the game in the language of the teams that are playing?
Yes, post broadcast.
Yes, so I'll always watch Spain in Spanish, I'll watch, Portugal. I'll watch in Portuguese. It's just just a part of the atmosphere. Do you only watch in English?
The Euros it's been kicking off a little bit with England and the players and the pundits.
Yeah,
I've never known a tournament. I mean, you get it a bit in cricket, but I've never known a tournament where it's down to the pundits to why England are playing shite.
Well, what English football fans, as you call them, are really harsh. Like, their team's not that. I mean, we support the Socceroos, right? We're used to not doing that well, but you saw the people streaming out of the stadium.
Yeah,
Southgate out, and now back again. Great scenes, overall.
What makes me laugh with English football is that we're so used to winning trophies. That's why we have such a high expectation of us.
It's so painful, isn't it? And I think I saw the favourites now again, and someone tweeted like, absolutely no emotional bias on the Betfair exchange.
Have you ever won a Euros, England?
No, we've won one trophy. We've won a World Cup in 1966. But we always think we should win every trophy. We don't know how to win trophies.
So when you're singing "It's Coming Home," you're literally talking about one time that you won in 1966.
Yeah, from 66. Yeah, that's
Sir Jeffers,
yeah.
Right. Okay. I thought you would have won more. I didn't realise that.
Intriguing. It's been an intriguing watch for me because of this. It seems to be every day that there's like a pundit that would say something, and someone reacts in the media. Oh, should he have said that? And then they ask the player in the press conference, "Oh, did you hear what Gary Lineker said?" And then it kicks off, and like, surely that's not the reason why England are playing poorly.
Well, maybe
you down to a bit of shape in the team and a bit of the individuals out on the grass that aren't quite kicking it to one another. Surely it's not down to someone on television.
That is true. The one thing I am enjoying socials is Roy Keane, who is just unbelievably direct and brutal. Who's cricket's equivalent, Vaughany, of Roy Keane, who just absolutely hard man, says it how it is.
Jeffrey.
Like just
he's Jeffrey Boycott in the day.
Yeah,
Jeffrey.
Well, and then is the Aussie version punter, Ricky Ponting.
Well, yeah, punter, yeah. But he's not.
Steve Waugh?
Steve Boyd, but Steve doesn't do too much in terms of punditry. Yeah, I'd say Jeffrey Boycott is the only one that kind of cries out.
Oh, so good.
Very good. Now, obviously, it is a cricket podcast. Let me just have a look. They're stumps. Okay, very good. So let's unpack a touch. Now, you did want to touch on the semis.
I don't know if I want to. I felt we needed to. Just briefly.
Obviously, sentimental favourites, Afghanistan, where I think we're all, Gilly and I were going for them. Unfortunately, they got touched up by South Africa in that first semi-final. Afghanistan won the toss, elected to bat, only managing to make 56. And then, it only took them 9.5 overs for South Africa to get it done, 1 wicket down. I don't even know how we unpacked this. How could it have gone differently, Vaughany?
Well, the pitch was crap.
Yeah.
The pitch was rubbish. Afghanistan had played on the Monday night in St. Vincent. They got back to the hotel at 2 a.m. A few hours kip. They had a 4-hour delay on Tuesday flying to Trinidad. No time to unpack the bags. They're in a semi-final. They're on a pitch that's, looked a bit green to me from however many hundreds of miles away. I was in Mumbai. Pitch did all sorts, but you can't tell me that it's right that you play a semi-final of a World Cup with not 1 day's practice at the venue.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Why is it so condensed, this final series? Because
I swear the first few weeks was spread out, and it was almost too spread out. So they gave, I know there's a lot of travel involved in logistics, but they seem to give the teams a lot of time off in between the likes of playing Oman and Papua New Guinea. Again, I'm not disremembered, but do you need 3 days preparation to play Papua New Guinea? I mean, do you need 3 hours? I don't know. But the fact is they gave a lot, and I get the travel, but then the final week was just crammed into the last Super 8s, the semi-finals, and the final, and travelling all over the place. I mean, the South Africans on the Thursday, they travelled from Trinidad to Barbados. They had a 6-hour delay. I mean, logistically, I understand travel, but surely if you're in a World Cup, I mean, I don't hear it in any of the World Cups. where football teams have 6-hour delays at airports.
Was it the weather, Vaughany? Because they obviously scheduled a World Cup during a wet season,
which is clever.
Because we wanted to see more Duckworth Lewis. Is that why? Or
Stern,
R.I.P. Yeah. I'm not too sure. I mean, I honestly have no idea. Look, the boffins that come up with the schedules, they'll have a reason why. They'll have a reason why all this happens. But again, you can't tell me that. Even India flew, I think, on the Friday or the Thursday night late. They wouldn't have had much time before 10:30 start on Saturday morning to have a full preparation into a World Cup final. I don't quite get why the last week is a rush job and the first 3.5 pretty much it's a cigar in the mouth and you play every 4 or 5 days.
There's an almighty storm right now, a Category 4 tornado or something. What is it?
Barbados,
that's about to hit the Caribbean. So they have only just missed out on,
Well, maybe that's why they did it. They knew. Maybe that's what.
6 months,
they were clever.
Years out. On that game, though, obviously the pitch was carnage. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen so many batsmen clean bowled. It was just doing absolutely everything. Rabada started it, then Janssen, Norchi. And I did notice on your socials, once again, Rabada did it all on Dale Stains's birthday, which meant once again the home of cricket rolled out the video as they do. Dale cleaning you up. You got a statement for the home of cricket on Twitter?
It's just getting a bit tedious now. I mean, I have lodged a letter into my lawyers about this. The bullying era, which you seem to be able to complain about and get something back for. I have lodged a complaint. I'm going to go. I'm going to go legal. My mental health and well-being has taken a downward turn because of that clip that keeps. I mean, my kids now replay it to me all the time.
And they weren't even sharing
they believe that's all I did in my career. I'm like off stump, knocked out the ground by Dale Steyn. They said, "Well, Dad, why would they keep replaying it if it didn't happen all the time?" I said, "Well, it didn't."
Have you spoken to Dale Steyn about it? Because I often think with these things, as low as it's making you feel, it must make him feel amazing every time.
Well, I'm not too sure. He was only getting me out, so he can't be doing it that much good. But it's not. I get a sense it's on a loop in the pavilion at Lord's. I just think it's on the screens all the time.
Yeah, maybe next to your portrait. Who knows?
I think there's breaking news there. I think the portrait's been replaced.
Oh,
my kids were actually down at Lord's on Friday, and my daughter was in the pavilion, and she did try and tour the pavilion for my portrait, and she said, "Dad, you'll be happy to know it looks like it might have been replaced by Alistair Cook's."
So,
it might have got it. Look, it has these moments where it disappears, but then there's a big cry out for it to come back. So it'll probably be back. It will come back, but at the minute, I think Alistair Cook's just replaced it on the stairs on the way up to the England dressing room.
Okay, very good. Now, speaking of England and their dressing rooms, they obviously went down to India. That wasn't a great segue. Tried to. It's not quite as bad as the Afghanistan result against South Africa, but England kind of got their asses handed to them by India. India, quite the reverse, won the toss, elected to bat, went out, set you guys 171, which is quite a good total.
England won the toss, bro.
England won.
Sorry. That was the other way. And they did exactly what you told them not to do.
Yeah.
Which is that you sent them into bat.
Yeah, on this occasion, I can give them a little bit of leeway because the rains were around, and I think the kind of forecast was that it's going to be coming in, and potentially it was going to be a 10-over game. And I think if it's a 10-over game and you're chasing, you've got a bit of an advantage. So England were very, very unlucky, and this, Ollie, can you look into this of how unlucky they were that the rain didn't come?
No, they were, and they didn't expect the pitch to dry that quickly when they stopped the outfield. They were seriously unlucky. Yeah,
very unlucky. So if the forecast had been correct, and my little app that I have on my phone said in Guyana 90% rain all day. If it was correct and England had got what they won the toss for, which was a 10-over game, really, they'd have won that game, and they'd have been in the final.
See how difficult it is, though, because if it was more rain, and a ball wasn't bowled, then you wouldn't have gone through.
No, but
so
they
it's
knew
a
that they
tedious.
thought there was always going to be some cricket, and it looked like there was going to be at least 10
Okay.
overs, which is what England were planning and preparing for, and they'd have won that game and got to the final.
And we spoke about it, didn't we, Vaughany, last week? And Prophet just dove off how you said it was India's tournament, they're controlling it. The debate, the controlling of the weather, the cloud seeding, choosing when to make it rain, how much to make it rain. You know,
and they got rid of it. They got rid of it. They got rid of the clouds.
Like in Dubai, they do that.
Is it the BCCI or is it the ICC?
Well, we can't comment. We would never speculate. But
no comment. But from a forecast where it looked like it was going to be rain, just a 10-over game, England win the toss, elect to field, and suddenly the clouds disappear and it's really hot and it's dry and it dries out the pitch. You do the maths, bro.
Some of the commentary said Indian conditions on Strict Info. A few people wrote in.
They didn't dry the pitch out, did they? And did they?
No, but they moved the clouds out of the way.
Yeah, yeah. It was unlucky. Well, England were unlucky.
Yeah, England were unlucky. Yeah, they should have won that one. Yeah, only went down by what I've got it here
and
68 runs. They were unlucky to go down by 68
and they would have.
Yeah.
If there was a third, fourth playoff, they would have had bronze against Afghanistan. So it's still meddling.
Well,
it's still in the medal.
We don't know that for certain. Yeah. Let's talk about the final. Obviously, India won. Spoiler alert if you've missed it. They set 176, which, again, another good total. Actually, only 5 more runs than they set in the semi. South Africa, Vaughany, as I said in my intro, it was theirs to have. They had 6 wickets in hand, 30 balls.
The controversial catch with the boundary line and the white line.
Well, first of all, let's talk about Rishabh's going down with a knee injury and halting they were Klaasen and Miller I think they were going to do it on the trot, right? They were looking good. And then, I'm not saying that Rishabh, because he's a friend of the pod, didn't have a knee injury, but I was thinking about that hamstring in the first slip that we were speaking about last week. If it was a ploy, it worked because the very first ball, there he is, outside edge, Klaasen caught by Pant, and then that was kind of the rot, right? But then we get into, 16 runs from the last over. Miller hits the big 6. And it goes down for this catch. Now, if you haven't seen it, get on. They're calling it the greatest catch of all time. Well, I'm calling it that right now.
I've taken a couple better than that.
Yeah.
They're saying it's the 3rd greatest catch of all time behind Vaughany's 2. Yadav on the boundary. He's running. He makes the first grab, throws it up, runs outside the boundary rope, manages to make his way back in, plant his right foot, and then take the catch, which I still think it's a bit of an odd rule in that you should be in the field of play before you take the catch. Does that make sense? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
He was in the field of play.
No, but his right foot didn't hit the ground before he took the catch. Or does that not matter?
But his left foot did.
Oh, his other one did. I was looking at the wrong foot. That's not the point here. The point is, did he touch the pad as he took off? Because there are some angles that make it look like...
not the big...
Oh, what's the big one?
Well, the big debate, isn't it? It was that the signage had been moved and had gone back a foot. So if you look at the pictures, there's a white line clearly, and we'll put it up, that is about a foot in front of the hoardings.
Hang on. So you and I have read...
Ollie, I see where you're coming at. So you think in that split-second moment, the BCCI have been able to move that boundary foam roller?
Well, potentially, or it got moved earlier in the game. I don't know how it got there, but I haven't gone through.
It's remarkable that they've moved it in the spot exactly where Surrey Kunmar. Look, yeah, that's remarkable.
No, but hang on. There's also chat that foot is touching the pad regardless, and they've done super.
Sure.
Because
I'm all sure. I mean, there's many conspiracy theories about World Cups these days of how India do get a leg up. I have to stick up for them here. I don't think someone can move the boundary up knowing that one of their players is going to step quite close to that boundary.
No, I don't think they. I don't think they moved it. There was something in 19.1.2 that temporary boundaries, as in the squashies, whenever they call them, advertising, they can be moved. So it actually should be the white line underneath that marks the boundary.
Oh, so so you're saying that the white line underneath is where the boundary
Yes,
is. So his foot is
yes.
over the boundary. So that should be a 6.
That's what has been thrown around on Twitter a lot. Yes.
Right. So South Africa are champion. Are we giving
Well,
South Africa the cup? Or?
Look,
10 or 5.
But can I just say, I don't know whether Englishmen can award trophies to teams in World Cups, just based on the fact that you guys accepted a trophy when you drew in 2019. I think
tied.
19.
Tied. Here you go. 19.2.1.
Okay.
This has been gone viral. 19.2.1. Wherever practicable, the boundary shall be marked by the means of a continuous white line or by an object in contact with the ground. 19.2. If the boundary is marked by means of a white line, the edge of the line nearest the pitch shall be the boundary. An object such as a flag, post, board, used to merely highlight the position of the line marks around, must be placed beyond the boundary, is not regarded as the boundary itself.
Now, can I just point out, in 2019, when the ball went off, whose bat was it? And it went
Ben Stokes.
Ben Stokes. And then we the rest of the world jumped on Twitter and we wrote all this stuff about particular laws and how it should have been New Zealand's victory. The whole of England said no, it's still ours.
But why should it have been New Zealand's victory?
Was it that one, or there was another one where the batsman hadn't crossed and it should have been a 6th run? There was something in there.
Yeah, there was something that when they crossed, they got 2.
Yeah,
for
they
it,
got
not
2
one,
runs instead of 1. Yes,
made it 5 or 6.
But
We can get bogged down.
We can get bogged down. You're literally doing.
I'm just reading what Twitter said. I think India fully deserved it, and it was great to see Virat Kohli get some runs.
Yes,
very
absolutely.
Good. Played nicely, did Virat.
He did. And I wanted to ask you, Vaughany, have you spoken to your friend Mohammed Hafiz? Has he commented on what sort of innings it was?
Well, he did comment a little bit about his behaviour in the 40s. That he suddenly played a little bit safe in the 40s, and then as soon as he got his 50, he went 4-6-4. Why didn't he do that in the 40s? Was a little bit of a response. But look, Virat played the innings his team needed on that day. They needed a little bit of a rock, someone to hang in there. They were falling at the other end. It looked like at one stage they were going to get 150, and he managed to hang in there, and they got a decent score on that pitch with a bit of spin. It was never going to be easy, but I have to say it was probably the best game I saw in the whole tournament, because it had quality. It had sheer quality ball. I mean, Bumrah's the best white ball bowler I have ever seen. Yep, I've not seen a better white ball bowler. I mean, he just can make the ball talk. He's just got the ball reverse swinging, which is remarkable. I mean, I actually thought one of the highlights of the World Cup was Simon Doole's commentary in one of the games about reverse swing and how he feels it's absolutely fine for fielders to throw the ball in on the bounce, to scuff up one side, to naturally scuff up the ball. And his commentary line said, I have no problem with that. The ball bounced in, you get a bit of scuff, bit of reverse swing. He said, that's absolutely fine. Obviously, using sandpaper isn't. He said that on commentary.
Dooley.
He's pretty spot on. He's not. Yeah. He's not wrong.
Speaking of superlatives, there you put him as the best ever the white ball. We've got to nod the 3 departing Indian players.
What I wanted to say, on this was that when all these, so obviously Virat retired first, and then Rohit, he got up straight after, and then obviously Jadeja. I was nervous that all 11 cricketers were going to retire.
Well, maybe they will.
And that, because obviously you want to finish on a high. I was like, we're going to lose this whole Indian side.
Well, Dravid started it. He was already going.
Of course, Dravid started before the tournament. All 11 players and the coach.
I mean, who else could really go? I mean, they're all pretty young, My worry it's not a worry really, it's just a concern for the rest of the world, is that now India have got this one trophy, which has been hard for them to win. It's taken 10 years. They have got such a powerful squad. If you look at the Champions Trophy, Pakistan, similar conditions. The T20 World Cup in 26, Sri Lanka and India. We know what's going to go on.
Yeah.
So very powerful. They've not won a World Test Championship final yet. They've been in the last 2. I'm sure they'll make the next one. This group of Indian players, I think they could go on a bit of a roll. They could go on a real roll. I mean, you look at Australia have got obviously a powerful team. No David Warner, Jake Fraser Berserk will obviously come in, so they're going to continue to be powerful. I think England are going to go through a bit of a transitional period. New Zealand clearly are going to go through transition. Bangladesh, don't really need to mention them. Sri Lanka. There's not that many really that I look at that can go close to this Indian side. They might have and they should, by the way, with the talent that they have, they could have a few years of dominance, the Indian team.
Well, the Aussie side, I saw a thing that the only player under 30 was Tim David. So you got to think in the next sort of 4 to 5 years, the bulk of that side, including, that bowling attack that's so dominant, will depart. Do we have the next cricketers coming through to combat this young Indian side? Maybe not. And I guess...
No, you haven't.
Okay, good stuff. And does England, though? I mean...
No, I don't.
No.
England, if you take England to South Africa, Australia, playing England, I think England are up there with the best teams. I think England can win a trophy in English conditions, Australian conditions, South African conditions, in white ball cricket. Still think they're powerful. But on slower, lower wickets that have a bit of a spin and grab, England are still not very good at playing the white ball game. You look at the India 50 over World Cup, we were nowhere. This World Cup on every slower, lower spinning pitch, Australia in Barbados, South Africa in St. Lucia was a bit slower than the pitch that they beat the West Indies on, because that was a day game, not a day-night game where they beat the West Indies. Obviously, the semi-final in Guyana, again, slower, lower spinning pitch. If England are absolutely honest with themselves, if they want to be the best team and compete in white ball cricket across the globe, they've got to get better at playing on slower, lower spinning decks. Simple as that. If they don't, they'll find it very, very difficult to win in the likes of Sri Lanka, India and Pakistan.
Yeah, someone did share the record white ball and it hasn't been that impressive. What do you think the sort of future holds for them? Matthew Mott, particularly, I guess, as well. And do you think there'll be a bit of a revamp? Because we'll touch on the Test squad shortly, which is looking, well, the Guardian called it Bazball 2.0 with the squad. Do you think there'll be some changes ahead for England?
Well, I honestly don't think it's down to the captain and coach to get the whole group of the system of our players playing better on slower, lower spinning wickets. I'll say this, though, if Owen Morgan's team in 2019, even though they played great from 15 to 19, if that World Cup had been in India, I don't think England's skill sets would have been enough to win that World Cup. I just think we've got a group of players that are brilliant on pitches. If the West Indies victory, the ball came on at night. The ball was skidding on. They hammered that 180-yard target in 16 or 17 overs because the ball was coming onto the bat. It's when there's a bit of grab and those slow balls sticking to the surface and there's a bit of spin. England struggle, and they have done for a long, long time. So yes, the coach can try and improve the players that are in his team to play better on those pitches and get a few more skills added into the bowling attack as well. But fundamentally, we've historically always struggled on those pitches. So you can't just blame Josh Buttler and Matthew Mott for that. So I'd stay with them. I don't see what the change would bring. I don't see any coach out there that's an absolute standout to come in and make English cricket so much better at white ball cricket. It's just a skill set on those kind of pitches that just needs to be, I think they call it upskilling. I think they need to upskill themselves on those pitches.
Now, Vaughany, obviously, we just discussed the big retirement of these three Indian greats, especially of the white ball game. Virat and Rohit in particular will go down as two of the all-time greats. Have you got any thoughts on what they've done for the game? How amazing they've been?
Well, in T20 cricket, Rohit for me is right up there with the best. I mean, he's a brilliant captain. I mean, how he wasn't the Mumbai Indians captain this year is beyond me. So he's a superstar. Virat's just incredible. He'll carry on playing Test cricket and 50 over cricket and obviously IPL. So we're going to see plenty more of those two. And also, I think Jadeja is up there with the best all rounders that's played T20 cricket. But I think they'll all agree that it's a perfect way to go, but they should have won more white ball trophies amongst them. I think Rohit was a part of the 2007 World Cup
he's
victory.
Played 9 World Cups.
Yeah, I think he was a part when he was a little whippersnapper. So to think it's taken him 17 years to get another one in his hand, I think he'll be the first to admit that, they should have won one or two more. But what a way to go out in Barbados with a trophy in your hand, and you can now sit back and play a bit of Test cricket, a bit of 50 over stuff, and obviously the IPL. Well, they'll, like MS Dhoni, play on forever. So 3 legends of the game, and Indian cricket will miss them, but they'll be replaced. There's plenty of talent in their team. I think of all the teams in the world, as I've said, if you lose 3 legends, I think they've got 3 kind of wannabe legends coming in, and it won't take them too long to be legends. So the Indian team's going to be absolutely fine.
Absolutely. So I guess just to tie it all in a nice little bow, this World Cup, you guys obviously went through our picks last week. They haven't changed much. I guess the one to highlight is that there was one of us that did say India will beat South Africa in the final. And that was, sorry, I haven't got it written here, but it was one of us. Doesn't matter who at this stage. Yes, Ollie.
I'd like to thank my mum. I just thought,
Did you say that, Ollie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ollie, just on that, I mean, I've noticed obviously the signs behind you, the Club Prairie Fire sign with myself in the middle, Pro on the right, me looking, and Gilly. Where are you on that sign?
I think it was done on a trial period when everyone thought I would just last a week. So there might be a rebrand.
There will be a
that
rebrand.
means your prediction doesn't count then, really.
Okay. In which case, the person that got closest was you, Vaughany, because you said England to beat Australia. England at least made a semi. I had the West Indies to beat Australia, and Gilly had Australia to beat New Zealand. So I think congratulations.
No wonder he's gone to Tequila.
I think he's drinking his sorrows. Well, anyway, well done, Ollie.
Thank you very much.
And your
prize.
Well
done, Ollie. That was a good guess.
Thank you. And I got the top run score out of us as well. So come on,
hang on. And I got the top wicket taker, which
so
was...
we know. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Bumrah. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, that I wasn't exactly.
No,
that wasn't...
all counts.
Okay, thank you.
It counts.
Yeah, well done, lads. So let's just get this right. The 2 so-called cricket experts did absolutely shite, and the 2 muppets did all right.
Yeah, that's right.
That's actually a good name for the show. The 2 cricket experts and the 2 muppets. All right, very good. Congratulations to India. Let's put that T20 World Cup to bed. As we just mentioned, England are about to take on the West Indies. Starts next week in the first test match. Jimmy Anderson, it will be his last test. I will let you 2 just chat about this. Just go have a little chat. Tell us what's happening, and I'll just take a little break here. So go for it.
Well, I mean, Jimmy, I think it's been announced, hasn't it, Vaughany, like last test, and then the bowling consultant role he'll be sort of slipping into is my understanding. What unbelievable career. So where is he number 1 ever? Test seam bowler?
Sorry. In England?
No. Seam?
No, keep going.
Right. Well, he's got the most wickets. I mean, he's got in international cricket, I think he's got 987 poles. I mean, people forget how many white ball wickets he got as well. He's got 987 wickets in international cricket. See, the professor there is now starting to realise when we start talking about the greatest, he could quite easily be up there. He's certainly, look, he's England's greatest by a not a good mile or 2, because Stuart Broad is close in the likes of Freddie Truman back in the day. Were outstanding, didn't play as much cricket. So obviously they don't get as many wickets, but you've got to say he's right up there with the best. I mean, I think if you mentioned, I think he's in the top 10 cricketers of all time. I think he has to be with the longevity. I mean, is it 184 Test matches?
187 I've got here,
187 Test matches as a seam bowler is utterly bonkers.
Yeah.
To continuously reinvent himself in terms of new deliveries, skills. I just look at, what is he, 40, 41?
42, about to be 43.
Right. So he's in a dressing room with the youngest player in that dressing room will be, what will he be? 21, 22?
Yeah.
Shoaib
Bashir?
Shoaib Bashir. I mean, Jamie Smith, who they've just picked, he's a young kid.
Dylan Pennington's not. Matthew Potts isn't that old. Yeah, there's a few.
So he could be their dad.
Yes. Yes, he could. I mean, he could.
He could have debuted when they weren't born.
No,
One of them
would.
potentially.
He would.
20.
Would
Well,
he?
we can find that out.
Well, his ODI debut was 202 in Australia. I think it was Melbourne on December the 15th.
Oh, good.
I was on that trip. It was in between. This way, he used to play a few one days in between the Test series. A bit bizarre, but he came on that trip from nowhere. He wasn't. He's not a player that kind of came through the under-19s and through the kind of pathway program. He just kind of snuck in from Burnley. It's like Burnley were hiding him. We've got this. We're not going to show you him until he gets to 20. We're going to go straight into the England team. That's what they did.
Burnley were hiding him.
Have you found how many wickets has he got?
So it was 700 test. One. I've just lost it.
Can you have a chat to him? He needs to play 2 Test matches.
Someone needs to tell him.
He needs to get, so we can get 1,000.
Well, so yeah, he gets 13 more wickets. So, but he could get 13 in his last game at Lord's.
Yeah, they should. They should drop every catch if anyone else is trying to get a wicket. Just let him get.
Okay, so he needs
there'll be a little bit of spice in
the
pitch. Yeah, it'd be nice to get 1,000 international polls, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Shoaib Bashir, born 13th of October 2003. So yeah, wasn't even born.
Yeah, so he could be Shoaib Bashir's dad.
Shoaib Bashir's had a tough week, hasn't he? Just looking back, there have been a couple of records going this week in English domestic. He's named in the squad. He had an over go for 38. Then Ollie Robinson
had one go for 43.
43.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm a bit concerned about a couple of instances this week where, you know, they pick a spinner. He did well in India, but he's been picked ahead of Jack Leach. And Jack Leach surely is England's number 1 spinner. And if you think about the English system now, we've got all these central contracts. Johnny Bairstow's not in. You could argue he's not going to be in any squad yet. He's got an England contract till the end of 25. England have just picked the likes of Jamie Smith, Pennington, not on contracts. Bashir over Leach, not on contracts. The amount of money that's being spent on players on contracts that aren't in the team is staggering.
Yeah.
And you were saying the wicketkeeper they've chosen isn't one of the 5 that Vaughany suggested?
I think when we spoke a few weeks ago, it was the other Ollie Robinson. He wasn't even... And also I saw he got 100 yesterday or the day before, but he also took 2 catches at 3rd slip. So he's actually not even got the gloves on right now.
Yeah, so England are playing that well that they're picking someone that doesn't even keep for his county.
Has he ever kept before, or is he just going to pop the gloves on for the first time?
He's kept a couple of games this year, so he's a special talent. He's a serious batter.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I have no doubt he will be absolutely fine with the bat in hand at international level. He'll probably fly out the trap, but I do find it a very amusing that in the history of Test match cricket, I'm talking about great teams. You know, teams that the Aussies have been a great team, the West Indies, Pakistan, over the many years. England when I did 9, 10, 11, we got to number 1 in the world. Matthew Pryor, good keeper, very steady. I don't see many other teams in the history of the game that pluck a keeper
from 3rd slip.
And not only does that keeper come into the Test team, he replaces the keeper who's in his county team, who he's keeping for his county ahead of him.
He must be able to bat, this guy.
Seriously. And again, if you look at, you know, the way that the England team, and I love this set of management because they just rip up history and tradition. They don't give a shit about it. It's like irrelevant what I say. It's irrelevant what the history books say. They just pick who they believe is the right person for their team. If you go back to the Ashes last year, that first test at Edgbaston, you could argue and make a strong case that the reason why England lost that game was because Johnny Bairstow made a lot of errors behind the stumps. So they'd won that first test with a keeper, and England no doubt would have gone 1-0 up. I'm pretty sure they won the Ashes series. If you go to India, where we lose 4-1, and you would say the positives were a couple of innings, Ollie Popes and Ben Duckett's. The young spinners, Tom Hartley and Shoaib Bashir, they were positives. And you could argue the third positive was Ben Foakes' wicket keeping being described as our very own very own guest, our very own, obviously, Adam Gilchrist, who described it as the best wicketkeeper in the world.
Yeah, best gloveman. Yeah,
The
and he was
best
at the
gloveman
other
in
end, wasn't he? For the big
best
knocks.
gloveman in the world. And now they've dropped him. And the one test that they won in India, as much as it was down to Ollie Pope's tremendous innings, all the plaudits were, the reason why was because of Ben Foakes' incredible glove work. That's why they got to a position of winning that game. So 2 games that one that we've won in India was down to obviously an innings, but also keeping. And a game that we lost was down to poor keeping last year in the Ashes series. So then this year when we reset, and it's all about the build up to the Ashes in a year and a half time, we kind of rip that up and go, nah, we're just going with a batter.
Yeah, I like it. And I think right in saying also, Ben Foakes was at the other end for over 100 balls of both of those big knocks from, I think, Duckett and Pope in India. He was more than held his own. I do hope Gilly listens back to this because he's been gone for 44 minutes and Vaughany's called him a guest on the podcast.
He now will be a guest on the podcast.
Correct. But do you think it is their best and strongest squad, Vaughany? Because there has been a bit of chat as well with the likes of Chris Wokes, who has barely played, friend of the show, and had some personal issues. He's seen barely played. He's also got a start in there as well.
Why don't you run through the squad?
So they've got Ben Stokes, obviously James Anderson, Gus Atkinson, bit of a new name, Shoaib Bashir, Harry Brook, Zach Crawley, Ben Duckett, Dan Lawrence, Dylan Pennington, Ollie Pope, Matthew Potts, Joe Root, Jamie Smith, and Chris Wokes. So do you think that is, or do you think they are trying to, Rob Key and Reds are trying to look at a few potentials against the likes of West Indies, which they may not do against, let's say, Australia or India?
No, this is a move forward. This is obviously Jofra Archer-Mark would have been the test squad when fit. But this is definitely a build up to a year and a half's time now. England have got an eye on, obviously they've got this summer West Indies, Sri Lanka, then they go to Pakistan, they play New Zealand, then next summer they've got India, which is huge, and obviously the trip down under. So they're certainly kind of resetting the team of how they want it to look. I'm just staggered with Jack Leach not playing. I think he's England's number one left arm spin. I personally think England at the minute don't have a world class spinner. They'll think that Shoaib Bashir can become that world class spinner. He may do, but in Australia, I just think a left arm spinner. You look at the teams that have done okay in Australia. Maharaj a few years ago did a real good job for South Africa when they won there. I just think a left arm spinner against a lot of the right-handers of Australia could be quite handy if you've got an experienced one, which Jack Leach would be. So it wouldn't surprise me if Jack Leach kind of works his way back in and he is that left arm spinner in Australia. But England do things differently, and this whole kind of Baz Ball era, if we're all honest, the last 2 years of cricket in England, we haven't won a damn thing. We haven't won a World Cup. We played poorly in India. We played poorly in the recent T20s. We've had some exciting times in Test cricket, but we don't have the Ashes. Didn't win in New Zealand. Lost in India. And the next year and a half will define this whole group of how we see them. Whether they can get to Australia and win, obviously beat India as well. If they do that, everything that they've done in terms of these kind of selections will go, well, they'll be able to say, well, I told you so. This is what we were planning for. So it'll come down to a year and a half's time.
Isn't it not interesting, though, that like Test cricket in the UK and Australia, it's never been spoken about more. Like, as much as you're not winning anything, the interest is through the roof, right?
Yeah. So, and look, bro, if everyone's fit, and I do think this batting unit that England have, they'll score runs in Australia. It's just whether they'll have the bowling to get the 20 wickets. But if they've got a bit of pace, I think you can get to Australia with a bit of pace, as our man Shamar Joseph showed us all in Brisbane. I think England are gearing up to have this powerful batting lineup that arrives in Australia, will take on the Aussies with a bit of power and freedom, and try and dismantle that quality bowling attack on Australian pitches. It's going to be a challenge, but you can see what they're trying to build towards. So, Ben Stokes back bowling, that's huge. That's a big plus. He'll make that team 20% better by him bowling. So, some interesting selections, but I can kind of see where they're going with it. It's not. I won't cry out to say that, Jamie Smith keeping is absolutely wrong. I think it's mad. It's crackers because Ben Foakes is the best keeper in the world. But with this group of selectors and management, I can completely get what they're trying to do. It's their style, and they're sticking to the guns. And I admire people like that. I admire groups that go, nah, this is the way we're going to play. This is what we want, and that's exactly what they're delivering. So it'll all be on Judgment Day in about a year and a half's time, whether it's been right or wrong.
Absolutely. Very good. We'll get your take next week on results and who's going to win, and you can give us some predictions because obviously it doesn't start till next Wednesday. But, hey, we are running out of time here, Vaughany. I know you've got to start your day and we have to end ours. So, hey, I'll get into the quiz. Now, am I competing in the quiz?
First time ever. Vaughany against
good
Prof.
Luck, good luck. What's the quiz about?
It's the finals week, the semis and the final.
But is it cricket?
T20 cricket. Yeah, it's cricket.
Right.
And I was just going to say on the Jack Leach thing, it's been a lot trending. England are picking people who aren't doing their normal roles, not keeping. He's been getting hundreds for fun. He may just come in as a batsman if they don't get runs. I think in the second 11 I've seen he's been doing very well, Leachy. Could be good. Okay, this week number 1, Azmatullah Omarzi was the top run scorer for Afghanistan against South Africa. How many runs did he make?
He made 14.
I looked not that long ago. I'll say 12.
10 is the answer. The only in double figures. Prof's off the mark with 1. Woo! The top run scorer was extras. In all honesty, tough time for Quinton de Kock behind the stumps. Number 2, in the same game, the tournament's joint highest wicket taker, Fazalhaq Faruqi, took their only wicket. Who did he get out and how? First one to get this.
He got Hendricks out, and it was caught. Oh, no, Hendricks. No, he didn't. He got Quinton de Kock out because Hendricks got a few runs.
Quinton de Kock is
right.
Is correct. Yeah.
Was he caught behind?
No. He wasn't caught behind. No, he wasn't caught behind. He was. Was it LBW?
Clean bowled from Prof. Clean bowled.
Well, we split the points there,
half a point each, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I just tossed it up.
You're just guessing dismissals. We all know how this works. Vaughany wins anyway at the end. Number 3, Adil Rashid became the top wicket taker for England in T20 international cricket. How many wickets is it? Nearest wins.
How long has he played for?
He's played forever. 210.
Oh, yeah. I may have got this one wrong. Keep going, and I'm just doing a little search here.
180.
Yeah. Let me just double check this. It's in World Cups was the end of that. T20 International World Cup, sorry.
180.
In World Cups, he's probably got 87.
I'll go 65.
31. Overtaking Stuart Broad.
31.
Hold on. Maybe that's finals. Oh no, what's happened here?
It may be T20 World Cups or all World Cups.
Oh, T20. Yeah.
It's T20 World Cups.
Yeah. T20.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
Yeah,
2.5. 2.5. Good, we got that. Okay, good. Number 4. It all goes to pot with no Gilly. Who was the umpire in England v India who broke the record for the most T20 internationals he's officiated in? I'm guessing it's World Cup again.
England, India.
Umpire, the most capped. You know that. You love your umpires.
No, I wouldn't have a clue. I don't know who the umpires are.
Umpires.
Can you give us a clue?
Give us a clue. Is it an English umpire or?
I'm pretty sure he's Australian. Yeah.
Rod Tucker.
Well done, Rod Tucker.
Poor rifle.
You.
I tried to cheat and everything. I tried to Google it. I couldn't find it.
Okay, nearest one it says 2.5, 1.5. Question 5. We have got tiebreaker if we need it. Nearest one wins this. Marco Jansen and Axar Patel had exactly the same figures in the final. What were they?
Axel Patel.
And Marco Jansen.
1 for 38.
2 for 25.
1 for 49.
Oh, very good.
So we have a tiebreaker. He's come back from a 2.5. Jasprit Bumrah was named player of the tournament. Obviously, Prof, you picked him, stop wicket taker. Nearest one wins. What was his economy rate in the tournament?
4.38.
4.38.
I'm going to go less. I'm going to go 3.89.
It's close, but it's 4.19. So Vaughany just has it. One out. Good comeback.
I mean,
win.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, nice win.
Yeah, I wouldn't celebrate it too much. You are always going to win that. Hey, very good. All right, so normally Gilly does the toast, and normally he has the tequila. Has anybody got any tequila? I've got water.
I've got some of this.
We're healthy.
Oh, okay. We've all got water. Vaughany, would you like to pick someone to toast to? Maybe.
Yeah, I think let's toast to 3 Indian legends that are leaving the T20 arena with the trophy in their hands. Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Ravi Jadeja, 3 outstanding players, and they've got the trophy. Well done.
Yeah, well done, India.
Congrats, India. All right, that was Club Prairie Fire for another week. That was Series 7, done and dusted. The T20 season it's all but done. We turn now to the English season, do we, gents?
Exciting.
England, West Indies. That should be an absolutely cracking series. As a reminder, find us at Club Prairie Fire at Club Prairie Fire everywhere. So Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, etc. There is that hidden little eye in Prairie. Just remember that. Anything else? You want to join our Discord channel?
clubprairiefire.com.au for that. You can get and keep buying the merch. Start rocking those t-shirts this summer. You will see some around some of the grounds, Vaughany.
Yeah, can't wait for that. Lads, I've got to go. I'm playing golf.
All right,
hit him well.
Very good. We'll chat soon.
Adios.
Well, remarkably, you've watched the show. Thank you. That's all I can say. And if you really like it, press something, I don't know, something on the screen, press it, or subscribe. That'd be really handy. It'd be really nice. Thank you.